seems pretty close. I'm Ari, and I've been hooked on moving pictures since forever. Growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, I was always filming stuff with my dad's Sony Handycam. Honestly, it was a blessing when that thing got stolen, along with hours of terrible footage that I could never quite nail. I quickly figured out what was holding me back from my videos, looking like the stuff on MTV or even those sick BMX videos. It was cash. You see, back then, pro cameras, whether film or digital, they cost a fortune, and the cheap stuff could never capture that level of image quality. So, I kinda threw in the towel. Then, something amazing happened. I was watching my favorite guitar teacher on YouTube, trying to learn some new licks, and he showed the gear that he used to record his videos. I couldn't believe the quality he was getting from what looked like a regular photo camera. And that sent me down a YouTube rabbit hole where I found tons of people creating blockbuster quality footage with affordable gear, and they were sharing all their secrets. It was so exciting. And I realized two things. First, you can absolutely get professional looking videos with consumer grade cameras these days. And second, even if I had that $80,000 camera back in the early 2000s, my footage would have probably still sucked. You see, these guys really emphasized that lighting, composition, camera settings, and all that stuff were way more important than the gear itself. And thanks to the wealth of information available on YouTube, I felt confident enough to purchase my first real camera. And there were many options to choose from. I mean, Sony, Canon, Nikon, Panasonic. They're all there and they're all great. They're all wonderful cameras. But I decided to go with the Sony APS-C system. And here are the reasons why. So first, the cameras and lenses offered by Sony are relatively affordable and available in my country. Second, there's a variety of Sony mirrorless lenses from both Sony and third-party manufacturers, making it a great option if you want to buy cheaper glass from Tamron or Sigma. And all of the Sony mirrorless lenses are compatible with both the APS-C system and the full frame system. They have exactly the same mount. Now, mind you, you will need to crop in slightly if you use APS-C lens on a full frame camera, but regardless, the lens mount stays exactly the same. And finally, the image quality coming out of the Sony APS-C range, it just blew me away. It looked professional, it looked natural, just looked amazing. So the first camera that I ended up purchasing was in fact the Sony ZV-E10, this one right here. At the time of purchasing, this was actually the most affordable option offered by Sony. It has the Sony 26 megapixel sensor, and it is the exact same sensor as the Sony 6100 all the way up to the Sony 6600, I believe. The sensor is capable of 4K up to 30 frames per second, and we have 1080p all the way up to 120 frames per second, and I'll show you some examples of this right now. It also came with all the picture profiles like S-Log2, S-Log3, HLG. It does not have Cinetone, S-Cinetone, but it has all the other picture profiles. Let's have a look at a few examples of what this camera can do. All of the footage that you're about to see was shot on S-Log3. And as you can see, the image quality coming out of this camera is just great. That's exactly what I was looking for when I first bought a camera. But then, after about a year or so of owning the ZV-E10, Sony came with a curveball. They released a new APS-C sensor. Now, mind you, the previous sensor has been around since, I don't know when the A6100 came out, 2006 or something. I mean, that's 8 years. And they came out with a new APS-C sensor. First, it was only available on the Cinema line camera. It was the FX30, but they then later released the A6700 with the exact same sensor. And of course, I thought man, I have no choice. I simply have to get the A6700. So that's exactly what I did. But is the image quality so much better? Is the new sensor better, or is it simply different? I'll show you a few examples here. I took it at the same time as I did the pictures with the ZV-E10. Now this sensor is a little bit bigger. I think it's a 27 megapixel sensor. It can do 4K all the way up to 120 frames per second. It does 1080, 240 frames a second if you do have a V90 SD card. This one does have S-Cinetone along with all the other S-Log profiles. In fact, you're looking at S-Cinetone right now. The footage that you are about to see was all shot on S-Log 3 and the A6700 with the exactly same lenses as you previously saw with the ZV-E10. That's about 3%. This is 1%. 2. 15%. It's already a lot. 29%. Let's go back to 1%. And yeah, there we go. 5%. 19%. 32%. Let's go back to... You go to 1%. This is what it looks like at 1%. Sony A6700. How do I think that it's worth upgrading from the ZV-E10 to the A6700? I don't know. Probably. Maybe. For me, I can't tell the difference in my videos. If they weren't clearly marked, I would have probably never known which was taken on which camera. But this will all depend on your capabilities and what you want out of it. If you got value out of this video, please hit the subscribe button and a like. Give us a like. Thank you very much and have a good one. Bye.